Welcome to Comic Book Nation's bonus round here on our YouTube page. I'm your host, Kofi Outlaw, and joining me today are my co-hosts, Matthew Aguilar and Janelle Wheeler.
Hi.
And we just had a full show that we had to do. It is Star Wars Celebration happening. There were so many announcements. The Super Mario Brothers movie is out. Be sure to listen to our regular podcast that accompanies this bonus round to hear all of that. But this week was so crazy, and we cover all things geek culture, that we didn't even have room to talk about the amount of movie trailers that dropped this week. It was crazy. Guys, after we're in season 5 now, from season 2 through up until season 4, we had like nothing, right? It was barren lands of COVID. We were struggling. I think this week is indicative of we are fully back, like John Wick. We're thinking we're back because movies are pumping out full force, and we got no less than, what am I counting right now? 1, 2, 3, 4 big important trailers that we have got to talk about. So we're going to take about 10 minutes or so. We're not going to spend too crazy because we don't know too much about any of these movies yet, but let's talk about what we saw, starting with Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, probably one of the most highly anticipated trailers of the year. First of all, there's been so many scheduling changes that I forgot this movie's coming out in June, that it's coming real soon. For some reason, I still thought it was December, November, but that was last year, right? Before it got moved to this year. So yeah, it is coming in June, which is coming up fast. But Across the Spider-Verse, we got the official trailer for the Into the Spider-Verse sequel. It introduces the villain, the Spot, and the kind of basic premise of the storyline, which is there's this multi-dimensional kind of team of Spider-Men guarding things. And for some reason, there is something pivotal about Miles Morales that he is not allowed to join it. And it sounds like there's something that he could do that will affect his, the multiverse, which is him having to make the classic Spider-Man choice between save everybody or save one person. And this is going to get taken to the nth degree in this movie. Based on I love this trailer. I thought it was a great balance of story and kind of spectacle and action, and just giving you enough while also delivering that kind of core underpinning of real emotion that this Into the Spider-Verse captured. And so I'm really interested to see where this goes. We know this is part 1. I'm also kind of terrified because that other trailer we saw with Miles and his mom on top of the, when he's up high, makes me think there is going to be some real tragedy in this movie that's going to get me in the family feels. So I'm a little nervous about that because I don't like feeling, guys. I don't like feeling. So, guess I might have to on this one. But otherwise, I thought this was a great trailer, and I don't want to see anything else. I don't want this movie to be over-marketed. I want it to just stop here. I just want to go in the theater and see it after this and just take it all in. But the animation looks spectacular. The amount of Spider-Men we're getting in this is just, I don't think, if we thought No Way Home was an event, this looks like it's going to be the all Spider-Man event. And we were just talking in the main show about Super Mario Brothers, the movie, and the deep cuts from all the history of Mario. This looks like it has every Spider-Man concept ever fleshed out on a napkin in it. And I'm here for it. What did you guys think of the trailer?
Janelle?
It's just beautiful. And I definitely feel like I know exactly what's happening, almost too much. I don't feel incredibly curious. I kind of know exactly what's happening, and I kind of have an idea who he's going to have to choose between, the one person or everything. And so I don't love trailers that give too much information. So I feel like I would have been fine not even seeing this. I was already sold. This film is already going to be one of my favorites because I loved the first one so much. So I didn't really need it, but it's fun and it's great to have it, but I honestly did not need it. The first trailer was enough for me that it already got me rocking. So,
I'm going to say, this might be controversial, I'm not loving anything that turns Spider-Man 2099 into kind of a D. I don't like that. I'm not a fan of
it. It was nice to see him get a spotlight. Boy, this is really going to be a big movie for that character, you know what I mean? So but he does look, I'm hoping that very much, maybe that's a swerve,
he'll come around.
No, I think there is going to be,
yeah,
Janelle touched on it, but I think there's going to be a lot of swerves to this, because I remember the first Spider-Verse, we didn't really quite know how deep that movie was going to get from the trailers. Nobody knew what to expect from it, and Sony didn't even know how to market it. Then when I actually sat down and watched it, it was oh wow, this is really deep and a lot different than I thought it was going to be. And I think this one is going to be a lot of mislead too. And I think there's going to be,
Yeah.
because we like a large portion of it takes place in Gwen's universe, for instance, like that stated. So it's like they're showing us pieces, but not how everything adds up. And I think that's where the surprise is going to be. We know the Spot's the villain, but why is he so dangerous to all of this? What is the multidimensional Spider-Man have to do? Because either those look like two separate films and two different conflicts, right? We know we're spending time in Gwen's universe. We know Miles has to make this choice, but how these things all come together, I think, is going to surprise us. So
I agree.
We also have a new creative team on this, so I'm hoping it just still feels in the same vein as the original. But
also, this movie just looks like nothing else. Like this animation.
Yeah.
I'm amazed that more projects haven't just like outright copied it, since the first one. Like this movie just continues to look like just no other kind of superhero movie or movie in general. And it's just the amazing thing. Like there's that Spider-Punk sequence, right?
Yeah.
And just that sequence, just that brief look looks so cool and different and perfectly in keeping with like that character design and stuff. And so I just cannot wait to see all these Spider-Man characters and Spider-Woman. Jessica Drew, thanks a cameo appearance in there. But I'm very excited to see what they can do. Whoa,
people were mad. Issa Rae, people were concerned when Issa Rae canceled her show Insecure, but man, she's just starring in two biggest trailers this week, so she's doing all right. But I think the thing I want to see is how many different animation styles. This is going to be a film unlike any other in the sense that they're packing like several difficult, distinct animation styles in there, and I can't wait to see that because the first one blew my mind, and I can't wait to see it in theaters in 3D if they offer it, because that was like the one. Besides Avatar, this is the one 3D movie I think I know for sure I was so glad I paid for. So, this in 3D in a theater, and people didn't catch on to Into the Spider-Verse till later, but in the theater in 3D, this was unbelievable. It is unbelievable. So I can't wait to see this. Next up, let's talk about Dr. Jones, Indiana Jones. Part of Star Wars Celebration that we didn't fit into our main show was the Indiana Jones 5 trailer, which really got me and sold me. I was a kid who grew up on Indiana Jones. I was trying to explain this to my son yesterday because he saw like a little thing about it. I also do the Temple of Doom Kali Ma heart rip to him as a gag all the time. And he's finally now turning 5 in a little bit. And so he finally asked me, he's like, Daddy, what is Kali Ma? And so I let him see 30 seconds of Temple of Doom before the heart rip just to show him like what it was. And he's like, that's what you're doing? He's like, that's scary. And I was like, well, when we grew up, like Indiana Jones movies like were this weird thing where they were these adventure serials, but they had really intense, scary parts in them. And as kids, we were just expected to deal with that.
Yeah.
Like, you watch Raiders of the Lost Ark, guy gets his head cut off by a plane propeller and the blood splatters, and then people's faces melting from opening the wrong arcs. And we're just like, little kids like, okay.
Yep, that's our lives.
Yeah, and that's our lives, and that's what we got. But this movie looks like it'll have that kind of comedy, that edge, and I think there's going to be some interesting things that get done with like time travel, destiny, and those kinds of concepts. And I think James Mangold and the team will pull it off better than Kingdom of the Crystal Skull did. And Phoebe Waller-Bridge being in this, and Mads Mikkelsen, like the cast, and Boyd Holbrook, like the cast just looks strong from top to finish. And this movie, I don't think since The Last Crusade, like I've seen in Indiana Jones, anything kind of really capture the feel of those classic films quite like this. Like this just feels like Indiana Jones, but recognizing that he's older and having fun with it instead of like playing it like I'm too old for this ish jokes like Danny Glover. Yeah. Like seeing his old friends still be like, give him hell, Indiana Jones, and him being like, I've been through all these things. I've been like, I've had voodoo done on me. I've been tortured. Like I've been shot 9 times. Like all this stuff. It looks great. And the de-aging stuff looks, I think, disturbingly the best to see, like, to remind you like how far Harrison Ford has come as an actor in this franchise, right? Seeing his young self as the original Indiana Jones and then seeing him as an older man doing this. And it just looks good. And the world building looks good. And I feel like we're getting into like a real kind of immersive Indiana Jones thing, which is what those films were. Those films really did bring you into that world and make you feel like you were in that adventure with this weird school teacher who, all of this sounds absurd now that we're not in the coke-filled 80s and trying to talk about this stuff. But awesome college professor who all the students want to bang, who goes on adventures and kicks Nazi ass. It's just like, whatever. I mean, just Twitter couldn't even handle half the things I just said right now. Like, but it looks like this is going to be great fun. And I'm psyched for this. And I like this trailer. So, yeah, I know, right? But
Oh yeah, I mean, I love all the Indiana Jones films. It's just so funny because I talked about this during the podcast. Like the way that I associate most of these things is like my childhood going on rides and experiences at Disney. So like I just my fandom comes from that space. And so I'm not as like die hard on the films and what they have to have and what they, might have missed or so like even the Crystal Skull, like I didn't hate it the way that everybody else did. But yeah, I mean it's fun, it's adventure. It's great to see these flashbacks. I think they look really well done. And yeah, I think it's going to be really cool. Yeah. Looks
Yeah,
good.
there's a lot of cool set pieces and stuff.
Yeah.
In for.
I think
Go
what
ahead,
Kofi
Matt. I'm
said.
sorry.
No. I think for me, it's just like super quick. I mean, I think for what you said before, I think this trailer does a better job than the previous one of getting me hooked onto like this actual adventure. Because I think the last one did a good job of like capturing some of that Indiana Jones feel, but it just didn't hook me. I was just like, I was like, oh, cool, that'll be great for like the the big time fans, and like I like Indiana Jones a lot. Like some of those movies I love, but like I wouldn't classify myself as like a diehard. So I would like I just wasn't there yet, and so then this trailer I think did a better job of like hooking me in to want to watch it. It's like not the top of my list because I don't know what it is. Like outside of those three movies, like that's kind of where my Indiana Jones fandom resides. It's really just those three movies. It's nothing really outside of that. Not collectibles.
Don't you
not
speak ill of the young
figures.
Indiana Jones adventures.
I just don't like. Well, but like, see, like
I'm just kidding. I'm
like
just
nothing
kidding.
outside of that bubble. I've just never really been into anything outside of those three movies. Like that's where my fandom for this franchise starts and ends. And I adore those movies and I love them and I'll rewatch them for umpteen times. But like outside of that, I was just never one who was like clamoring for a sequel. So this trailer, though, to its credit, did a much better job for me to like hooking me in and going like, you kind of want to watch this. You want to see what happens. You want to see how they where they take things and playing with time and all that. So I'm in, but like it took this trailer to really get me in. And I wouldn't say like it's still like the thing that's at the top for me. So that's just where I sit on Indiana Jones. Not to be a downer. And I'm not really poo-pooing it. I'm just saying I'm not like the most sold.
All right, that's fair enough. Let's move right along. Here's something that probably will get Matt a little more hyped. Let's talk about Blue Beetle. I don't know if we had time to look because it's been such a crazy week. Oh, Peter's the man. Peter behind the scenes because we're so good at our job that we forgot the first big thing that dropped this week to put in this trailer breakdown, but Peter got on it. And as you can see, Blue Beetle got its big trailer, which, even so, we might have forgotten it. I don't think it's been paved over by anything because this was still a really impressive trailer. Even my son saw this and was like now curious about Blue Beetle so much. Yeah. Although it does walk a good line of being a little scary because he was like, is Blue Beetle scary? Because he saw the Venom-esque kind of scarab scene, which is kind of freaky.
Ooh. Yeah,
that's a little freaky, but just right enough. And I'm not mad. I want freakiness back in our kids' films, man. It taught me to adjust to things, and these kids today are a little soft, so it's good. But yeah, this was just a great. I mean, this was been a great trailer, a superhero trailer in the 2000s, 2010s, but it looks spectacular, and I could see why they were like, yeah, this is too much for HBO Max. This deserves the theater, and I wholeheartedly agree with that. I mean, this makes Blue Beetle look cooler than I think he's ever had the right to be, maybe. But I think this was just like the costume looks amazing, the effects look amazing, and the cast and the family dynamic looks amazing in the way that like I liked Miss Marvel, and even George Lopez is winning me over in this movie, which is something I never thought I'd say. I also, more to the point, I liked a lot of the finer points about this trailer, kind of showing us where this new, because this is the first movie coming after Flash. Flash comes out in June. This is the first of the new DCU that's coming, Blue Beetle. Weird kickoff, like Ant-Man kicking off a thing, but hey, here we go. But I like how instantly what they're doing is just putting you in the middle of a universe that's already established and not having to get too crazy about the lore, but just saying, okay, we're following Jaime Reyes and his journey, but you're in a universe where it looks like, both like what's the first Blue Dan Garrett and Ted Kord's Blue Beetles have existed, lived their lives, had their milestones. Ted Kord, I feel like the Blue is going to be connected to the Booster Gold stuff. I still maintain that series could be a lot about Ted Kord and trying to solve what happened to him. But I feel like his death and all that's going to be in there. And we're just in the middle of it now. So if you're a DC head, you'll recognize all these things. But if not, like you just go see this movie about this character that wins you over. But later on, you'll see the connections that spread out from everything from what could happen with the Reach and all of that stuff to, like I said, Blue Beetle and Booster Gold's history and all of that. So I really liked how they're doing that. And it gives me confidence in where this new DCU is going. And I think this trailer was important for that. Matt, as a big supporter of the Latinx hero movement, how did you feel about this?
No, I think you said it really well. I'm hyped, man. I've been excited for this. I was hoping they they wouldn't drop the bag. And the scene that's actually just playing is like one of my favorite scenes. And it's the scene where they're all chanting for Jaime at the car. And I don't know, there's just something like very authentic about like your whole entire family is in the car and they're just like unabashedly like not trying to embarrass you but embarrassing you for their like sheer enthusiasm for what you're doing, right? There's just I don't know, there was just something like, super relatable for me about that sequence. But I love that one of the most important things about Jaime is the family, like that his supporting cast, much like Kamala, is like an intrinsic part of why that character works and why that character has become beloved, because of the supporting cast around, and it's the dynamic between all of them. And his family's crucial. So the fact that his family plays such a big part in this trailer even is great. Like the scene where like, George is like trying to get the the helmet off, like that whole thing, that's hilarious. I just love that they're actually involved in his initial transformation, even like they're right there. So the fact that they're front and center gives me a lot of
tired
confidence.
like I'm so happy we don't have to do the tired family, like the coming out scene.
Right, like
he's not
like I'm hiding my thing from you. Like that's what makes that so refreshing, is that like they all know, and like he can talk to them. And again, that doesn't mean that there's not like conflicts, right? Because they still don't have power, so they can't relate on everything. But like there's all that openness, and it creates so much room for comedic stuff and also like real conversations. So all of that paired with the fact that the suit looks dope. He did such a good job with the suit. His like enthusiasm like cuts through the bus, or like, that's an accident, but like when he's looking at all the people and you can see I love that they did more like the Spider-Man approach with the eyes, like that they're animated. So like he can do different expressions with them as he's moving on. So even though you don't see his face, he can still express himself. I just love that. I think that was a smart way to go. I'm pumped for this, man. This looks so fun. I'm so glad this kind of survived the turmoil and upheaval that was the behind the scenes slate and production stuff. I really hope this does well. I just think he's such a fun character, and you should definitely read the comics. So that's me. Janelle, what do you think?
Yeah, I definitely was not expecting this to be so cute and like fun and funny and exciting. And I'm just very excited because it feels like a Marvel movie. Can I say that? Like
Yeah.
just from
You
the
just did.
trailer. Yeah, it doesn't I don't know. It doesn't seem corny, but it also doesn't seem really heavy, which is exciting because that kind of is reminiscent of some of my favorite Marvel films. I will say that this lead actor is not my favorite in Cobra Kai. Like his acting just kind of rubs me the wrong way. I've not been the biggest fan, and so that has been my one concern. But in this trailer, it feels like he is nailing it. So I feel like I'm eating crow because I really like what he is showing as an actor in this trailer. So that gets me pumped as well.
All right, yeah. Blue Beetle, we are all on board. DCU.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Finally, Janelle, we'll let you kick this last one off. No, I'm just kidding. But I'll kick this last one off. I am by far the most qualified to talk about this last one, so let's talk about it. It is the Barbie trailer. Barbie put out another trailer, really another teaser. And it's funny because I still have no idea what this movie's really about.
Yeah,
But
same.
I love it, and I love all the little things like the little thing of her walking on her heels. But this movie, of this second teaser, kind of gave us what the Barbie world looks like, and it was kind of a reveal of the Barbie world. And we talk about Across the Spider-Verse, but this cast is crazy stacked as well.
Jeez.
Like, I didn't think. I mean, those posters came out, and if you didn't see this week, one of the biggest things are the Barbie poster generators that people are making, and people are making hilarious ones. Somebody made Debbie from Addams Family Values and said, like, this Barbie is a Malibu Barbie or something like that with her with a shotgun. People are just making crazy funny things. But this whole kind of like concept of the Barbie world and all these different Barbies and all these different actors playing different versions of Barbie and Ken, I was kind of strangely here for it, and it made me laugh, right? The whole thing. And I didn't think this movie would be so juvenile with some of the because it's Greta Gerwig and like Noah Baumbach. I'm like, oh, it's gonna be the deepest, like craziest, like little movie. But then there's a whole joke about a beach off for like 3 minutes, and I was just like,
That got
beach
me.
you off.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just so dumb, but like so funny,
Made me
and
laugh.
like and it made me laugh too. And like they're just like little things like Ryan Gosling's like earnestly doing the Ken, like, let's spend the night together because we're boyfriend and girlfriend. And Barbie's like, do what? And he's like, I honestly don't know. And you're just like the humor and like the innocence of these kind of like doll characters. It's hilarious. And I guess I do want the last trailer to show me what happens, like how this movie takes a turn when they go to the real world and like kind of what happens. But so far I'm loving the concept. And yeah, I feel like Margot Robbie's laughing at us in part of this. I think this is commentary on her career a little bit, but I like it so far. What do you guys think?
Oh, this is so sweet. This is so sweet. I love it. It's such an aesthetic. I want to drink a pina colada and like dress in all pink and go see this with a girlfriend for sure. Like, it's adorable. I was a Barbie-aholic as a kid, mostly because I wanted to like I liked the singer Barbie and the, rock star Barbie and I don't know, all that. So I love all the different outfits. It's cheeky and oh my gosh, Kate McKinnon in it, like
Kate McKinnon, yes.
Every little girl's chopped one of their Barbies' hair and like just ruined them. It's just great. It definitely makes me think of my childhood for sure. Yeah, it's fun.
I forgot she was in this until
Yeah, me too.
And then I was like, because I hadn't seen the trailer yet. So then but I saw the posters first, and I was like, oh my god, Kate McKinnon's in this. And then I watched it. I was like, oh well, that's perfect. That's a perfect thing.
Dude, I saw the cast and I was like, I saw the posters and I was like, I can't believe half this cast is really in this. And then I was like, oh no, they're all in here.
Stacked. So. This might be the most stacked star movie of the year. Like, there's so many people in this. It's absurd, but it's
just
fun,
Will
man.
Ferrell.
I'm in.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, I'm into it.
I'm in.
I can't wait to
be
see.
Fun.
This summer is going to be crazy, man. We have so much to talk about. All right. So that's just a sampling of what we'll be doing this summer, okay? We'll be talking about Across the Spider-Verse and Blue Beetle and Barbie and what was the other, Indiana Jones. So you're looking at the future of Comic Book Nation in the coming weeks and months. So we hope you guys are as psyched for all these things we just broke down as we are, because this is our life for the next few months. All right, that'll do it for our bonus round. You can watch any of these trailers plus so much more about the film, the Easter eggs, the implications of the story, and everything we know about them over on comicbook.com movies. Be sure to go there, and be sure to follow us here on Comic Book Nation YouTube and over on Twitter so you can keep up with us and our regular show every week. I want to thank Matthew Aguilar and Janelle Wheeler for joining me for this bonus round, and we will see you guys back out there on the interwebs where we cover all things geek culture. This is Comic Book Nation, bonus round. Peace.